Hi, Ify. Good afternoon. How are you? And I hope your Saturday is going well. Um, yes, so I am on the PEDS, or is it PEDS? I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Challenge, by the way. I am one of the guilty silent participants, as I was behind by about 6 days because my son was quite ill and had a lot of work things going on. Anyways, I'll start catching up. I've caught up on the main group, and I'm making my way through the two groups, age groups I am on. Anyways, I just had a so I say testimony. I wanted to share with you, just to give you some feedback so far. So oh, I would also share a video of our feeding experience today, which you could, if you wish, use as a, I guess something to show other parents, if you wish that, some of your techniques do work. And also, if you want to do a what did she do well and what could she do better video with it, I don't mind. Anyway, so you know the story of my son, as I explained to you when I first approached you. So he's 4 now and has practically been labeled a fussy eater since he started weaning. I mean, he always has an appetite. He eats very well and was growing well, but he only, eats or ate what he wanted to eat. So at a time, he would only eat like 2 or 3 meals, and he can eat the same 2 or 3 meals like over a 6-month period, or sometimes even a bit longer. So literally he's eating the same thing for breakfast every day, and then his lunch and dinner is probably the same thing every day. Or, he's switching what he had for dinner yesterday for lunch today, and lunch for dinner, and he had some snacks as well in between. And obviously the foods he was eating, to be honest, were not nutrient rich, so I'm on their own. So I'm talking like, just, yes, I mean they are, but he wasn't getting, I didn't feel he was getting everything he should be getting as a whole. So he would probably at some point just have yogurt as a yogurt. He had chips with ketchup and bread, and then eventually he would have tea with it, so like a hot cocoa with it. And then he had some snacks, which to be honest was just biscuits, not healthy snacks per se. Anyways, so that was him before I met you. And then, like, I gave you that feedback before I joined this challenge. So about 6 weeks ago, he started eating in school. He had eaten rice, spaghetti, pancakes, banana, plantain, and even drinking fresh juice, which he would refuse at home, including the yummy smoothies I make for his younger brother or myself. He would refuse them. And he has been in the same school since he was 17 months, by the way. They have a very rich and varied menu, but he would never taste the food he was offered, which they always offered him before tilting, giving in and giving him what he would prefer to eat. Anyway, so I eventually, they sent me videos of him eating in school, obviously as evidence, and I noticed that this teacher, what she was doing was basically just spending time with him, doing a lot of cajoling, a lot of praising, even to the point that I think to get him to drink the fresh fruit juice at some point, I saw her call other kids in his class to cheer him on to drink it, and he drank it and was sharing with them at the end of it. So that was working for her. And obviously, I had watched the video you shared with me previously on the feeding languages, and I was like, okay, so my son is a social eater. And I also know that, well, from experience at home as well, even when he eats his regular foods, he's a time definer. And obviously, yes, I noticed some of the other, one or two other languages that he leans towards occasionally. Last week, actually, okay, so like when obviously I found out he was eating these things in school, I would try, ask him at home that, oh, I'm making this today, are you going to eat some? So whether it's rice or spaghetti, he will say no, no, I'll eat it in school tomorrow or something like that. Anyways, eventually, last week I got him to eat jollof rice that I made at home, and also spaghetti. So with the jollof rice, like, we got him to eat like, the equivalent of what he ate was like a tablespoon, but for him it was like him putting it in his mouth 5 times, which was what we agreed on, and he did. And it obviously required a lot of cheering on and cajoling and all that. And yes, I think telling him that, okay, if he had that, he would be able to have something else after. And then also I got him to have spaghetti. So I had made spaghetti meatballs for his brother, but I had made the sauce separate. So he has one of those plates that you have different sections in. So I had put the plain spaghetti in one section and the meatball sauce in another section. And as expected, he just played with the meatball sauce and was playing with the spaghetti. But when I sat down with him and again did the cajoling and did the okay, just eat, I think I told him 7 or so. No, I think 5 actually. I said 5, strands of spaghetti, but I got him to eat 7 anyways. He did. Okay, and then now today, after I had looked at the menus and everything you sent us out, what can I make today with what I have at home? So I decided to make spaghetti. So this time I made the spaghetti, and for the sauce that I cooked the spaghetti in, I had the minced beef. I had blended carrots and peas, as well as black beans and the tomato sauce together. Had added onions and other things as well. I think stock as well. Stock that I had made at home, and then cooked the spaghetti in it. So when I told him that's what he was having for lunch, he obviously resisted as usual and said no, he didn't want to eat that for lunch. He wanted his chips instead. And I asked him, why not? He said, oh, because it's gross. And I'm like, but you've not tasted it yet. Anyways, that's the usual thing he does. But he still insisted he did not want it. So I went on to say, okay, after repeating that, 3 times to make sure he understood what I was saying, I went on to say that, well, that's fine. So if you don't want it, it's okay. But just know that if you don't have the spaghetti for lunch, you don't get to eat anything, including snacks, until dinner. And I explained it to make sure that he understood that would be no eating of anything until after you've had your evening bath. Anyway, so again, I had to repeat that 3 times, and this is whilst he was, it was a very calm, conversations, as whilst he was hugging me and giving me kisses whilst trying to convince me, or I guess bribe me into giving him what he wanted to eat instead. So anyways, I didn't cave in, and eventually he goes, oh mommy, I want the spaghetti. I was like, okay. So then I presented the spaghetti to him, and the next thing was, he was saying that he wanted the plain one. So I said to him, well, this is what mommy has made, so this is what you have to eat it. And I explained to him that the color on it is because I cooked it with a sauce. Finally got him to sit down, and I said, okay, all you have to do is eat 20 strands of the spaghetti. It took a while before we got him to eat one. He was like, and he said he was looking for a clean spaghetti, i.e. one without the sauce. So I said, well, there's no clean spaghetti. Everything has a sauce on it. Anyways, that's how we gradually went from 1 to 20, and he ate 20 strands of the spaghetti, and he got excited, and as opposed to where I was the one just trying to get him to eat, he was actually interested and excited, and he made it a very interesting eating session for himself in addition to what I was doing. And by the way, in between, I think when we got to maybe 7 or so strands, he was like, mommy, I want to tell you something. And without prompting, I kid you not, my son said, oh mommy, this is the best spaghetti I have ever had. I was like, really? Wow, why do you say so? Asking him what made it the best he has ever had. And he said that, it's because of the sauce. I said, what do you like about the sauce? And he said, the sauce is yummy. I was like, okay. Anyway, so that was a success story, and I'll share the video like I said. So thank you so much for the tips, and I look forward to applying more of them as time goes on.